the lesson from earlier this week was crazy. This one's actually really like super straightforward and not that difficult at all to understand. So it's a lot easier. So don't worry about it. You'll definitely get this one. So the idea here is 3 square root of 5 plus 6 square root of 5, and this is going to follow a very similar rule to if you add 3. That's a 3, really. It is 3x plus 6x. So 3x plus 6x is going to give us 9x. In this case over here, we're just going to assume as if x was the square root of 5, we're going to end up with 9 square root of 5. Same thing if you're subtracting anything like that, it basically comes out the same way, and you're going to run the same process in order to get there. The only place where this ends up a little bit different is if you have a situation where you have something like 4 square root of 5 plus 2 square root of 20. And you're looking at this and going, well, these are not the same. The square root of 5 and the square root of 20 are not the same, so I can't add them together. But hold on there. You happen to know something about simplifying radicals. And what we can do is we can come over here and we can take the square root of 20, and we're going to take 20 and we're going to factor it down, and we're going to turn it into 20 can be divided by 2, giving us 10. 10 can be divided by 2, giving us 5, and 5. So what this really comes out to, the square root of 20, I'm going to do this over here, the square root of 20 equals the square root of 2 times 2 times the square root of 5. And as we know, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, which is 4 square root of 4 times the square root of 5. Square root of 4 is 2. So 2 times the square root of, hit the next button, 2 times the square root of 5. So what this really equals is 4 times the square root of 5 plus 2 times the square root of 2 times, and then we actually take the square root of 20 here equals, so we're going to say 2 times 2 times the square root of 5, which means this equals 4 square root of 5 plus 4 square root of 5. And we can go ahead and add these together, and we end up with 8 square root of 5. So it turns out, even though we started with the 2 square root of 20 and 4 square root of 5, the square root of 20 can be simplified into a square root of 5, and they can be combined together to give us this right here. So when you run into something and you've got roots that don't seem to line up, to see if you can simplify them, you have to factor them and make sure they're fully simplified to see if they can add together. Because if you have multiple roots, for example, if you had, something like 12, which is which can be simplified to a square root of 3, and 27, which can be simplified to a square root of 3, they could add together. You were looking at the square root of 12 and the square root of 27. So you just need to factor them down to go, well, can these be added together? And anyway, if you're looking to simplify it, even if you were just saying, you know what I want to do, I want to simplify this phrase, well, we need to make sure that each of the roots were simplified anyway. So your first step is to go, okay, I'm going to simplify this root. I'm going to simplify that root, though it's already simplified, so there's nothing you got to do. And then we're going to see if anything can add together or subtract or anything like that. And that's it. That's all you got to do for this. So this week isn't that hard, but it is a good concept, and it's useful to kind of see how these things can work together.